Here we go. Well, hey, welcome everybody. Again, as I mentioned a second ago, I am going to go ahead and mute everybody. We'll do a little Q&A session at the end, and I'll try to kind of move through this presentation fairly quickly. But if there's questions that come up, please, if you can, just hold them off till the end, and we'll try to address everything we can. So I'm going to hit mute right now. Okay. Bang. There we go. Okay. Time to share the screen and make this official. All right. Um, Play from the start. I want to welcome you all, first of all. The title up here on the slide is pretty much how I approach Sunrider from all aspects, letting the foods drive our business with the power of four. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Mac Atkinson. I live here in Tucson, Arizona. I've been consuming these incredible foods for the last 30 years, amazing but true. Have been involved in the business for the past 20 years. And I am a second generation Sunrider. My father was involved during the same time that I was prior to his passing away. And when I look back, my father was always the entrepreneurial networking guy, and I was the corporate guy. My background was in the biotech industry, where we were producing synthetic DNA and peptides for the drug discovery and research industry. But I have to kind of laugh thinking back, because my father would always call me and he would talk to me about the power of leverage and duplication. He would send me books, and three of the first ones he ever sent me to look at was a book called Clicking, which was produced by a lady called Faith Popcorn. And it was all about trends. And remember, this is 20 some odd years ago, okay? And what Faith was talking about in her book was the idea of people working more from home, looking for nesting opportunities, the ability to spend more time with their family, et cetera. Things that have certainly evolved over the last 20 years. The other book he sent me, of course, was Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which probably everybody in the world has read at this point. But it was my first real introduction to the concept of passive and residual income. And the other one he sent me was actually a J.W. Marriott's book called Spirit to Serve, which is in the drawer of every Marriott hotel room around the world. But it was great because it again gave me an exposure to the servant mentality and how that applies to people in business, and how we can work with that. The other thing that my dad always talked about, which again all came true, was the idea of competing with those that I was working with in the corporate sector, which was true. I mean, it was a competition every year for the corner office or the next raise. The idea and the concept of working for somebody else's dream. And his point was always, hey, if you own your own business, you're working for your dream. If you work for somebody else, you're working for theirs. And the other thing, which was a bit daunting, but I've certainly tried to take this on, was the idea of taking 100% responsibility for your own success. And I tell you again, my dad passed away, a number of years ago, but I have to thank him every single day for the opportunity that he brought me with Sunrider and the ability to carry on with this business. Prior to talking about Sunrider and the foods and our business opportunity, I just want to quickly share with everybody this quick disclaimer, because we are going to talk a little bit about the foods today as well. And that is, none of the information provided in this presentation is intended to represent a diagnosis or cure of illness or disease. So now that we've got the legality stuff out of the way, we can move ahead and talk. For me, when I talk to folks all the time, the question comes up, well, Mac, there's a lot of opportunity in the network marketing industry, but why would you choose Sunrider? And for me, it's the four things up here on the screen. Number one, stability. Sunrider's been around for 38 years. A lot of companies come and go in this industry, but again, Sunrider's been around for a long time, and they have the plans and the expectations to be around for a lot longer. They operate in 50 countries around the world, which gives us at a certain rank the opportunity for an international business opportunity. And certainly prior to COVID and the restrictions on travel, one of the things I loved most about this opportunity was the ability to travel around the world and interact with different cultures and people and different foods, and just basically see what the world had to offer to us out there. And I can still do some of that by Zoom, and I do it all the time now, but one of the things I can't wait to have happen again is to get those emails from British Airways and Qantas and saying it's time to fly again, So anyway, we do have an international business opportunity with Sunrider operating in over 50 countries. The 100 thing next to that is confusing for some people, and I want to explain what I'm talking about there. Many times in our industry, a company will take a recipe for a product and they will hand it off to a third party and say, make my product for me, hand it back, and then I'm going to sell it to all the people that buy from me. Sunrider's not like that at all. Sunrider 100% handles internally all of the research and development and manufacturing of all of our foods and products. And when we talk about that, what they're manufacturing for us is over 400 of the world's finest health and beauty products. And by that, I mean everything from whole food nutritionals to cleansing beverages, to weight management, to sports and fitness, to green household, and an all natural line of skincare and cosmetics. All of them are manufactured right here at our 1 million square foot facility in Los Angeles, California. Made in the USA. We wear that stamp proudly. And again, this is a picture of the facility from the air that you can see, 1 million square feet. We control that, we own it, we operate out of it down in Los Angeles, California. When we talk about what truly makes Sunrider unique, coming from the biotech industry, which was, again, another manufacturing business is what it was, I mentioned synthetic DNA and peptide. Quality is what first comes to mind for me and what I saw when I first looked at Sunrider. In the biotech and in the pharmaceutical industry, we had to manufacture under what was called GMP, or good manufacturing practices. And it meant that we monitored everything from the raw materials coming into the facility all the way through the manufacturing process until the finished product. Sunrider is a food grade company. And in the United States, there's basically 3 different licenses that you can manufacture under by the FDA. One is a general manufacturing license, not many requirements. The next is food grade, very, very important. Lots of things have to happen to manufacture food that is sold to all of us here in the country. The third and the most stringent is the pharmaceutical grade standards. And what impressed me so much about Sunrider is they choose to manufacture under the higher pharmaceutical grade standards, even though they could get by with a lesser standard at food grade. So quality, it's all about quality. The other things I just want to touch on here quickly on this particular slide is the idea of the proprietary processes we use in terms of extracting nutrients from the raw herbs, flowers, and plants that come into the facility. Before I get there though, again, back to the raw material side, I know because I've toured the facility many times, I've had a chance to speak with Dr. Chen, with Eric, who runs manufacturing now, and we still reject somewhere between 20 and 25% of all the raw herbs coming into the manufacturing plant because they don't meet the stringent quality control standards that Sunrider has established. Now to the extraction stuff. What we're really talking about here is Sunrider has developed proprietary processes to extract all of the beneficial nutrients from the herbs, flowers, and plants that we use as our base materials, which allows us to minimize any undesirable ingredients, but more importantly, to maximize the nutritional benefit that we provide in our foods. And I just want to move on to this next slide because a couple of reasons here. Number one, I wanted you to see what a GMP facility actually looks like. If you've never toured the Sunrider facility, this is a plant where you can basically eat off the floor. Okay, it is so clean, it is so precise, and this is a good example, and it is a true picture of what the facility or one of the rooms looks like. Before I move on though, I just want to talk a little bit about concentration as well. And I know a lot of companies say that they have concentrated herbs, et cetera, but again, through those proprietary extraction processes I was talking about, Sunrider has the ability to truly concentrate all of the foods that they send out and that we consume. And just to give you guys a visual, and I know there's probably 100 different examples of this, but I like to use the one of the 10 carrots, okay? You could sit down and try to get the nutrition from 10 carrots. Eating 10 carrots would probably cause a little stomach discomfort. Okay, let's just leave it at that, all right? But this is what Sunrider does. It typically takes 10 pounds of a raw herb and through those extraction and concentration processes produces a single pound of a finished product. And what I like to think about with the carrot example is if you took 9 carrots and you extracted all the nutrients and the minerals from them, and then you sprayed that onto that 1 carrot you were going to eat, by eating that 1 carrot, you're getting the nutrition of 10 carrots. That's exactly what Sunrider is doing through its extraction and concentration processes that they provide for all of our foods. Most everyone has heard us talk a little bit, if you've been introduced to Sunrider at all, about the philosophy of regeneration. And Sunrider has its own definition of that, and it's all true. I mean, all of our foods are whole foods. There are no chemicals or isolates. We provide tremendous variety. And by variety, I don't mean 400 different products. I mean a single product like quinary that has over 52 different herbs, flowers, and plants that makes up this one formula. That's the variety I'm talking about. Concentration we already discussed, and formulation is all about the expertise that the doctor's Chen and the manufacturing group and their chemists bring to the table in terms of being able to formulate these foods so they truly deliver the maximum nutrition, which is what we're all looking for. For me, and credit to Dr. Karen Spencer-Dees, because she's the one that first planted this seed in my head, I prefer to look at the philosophy very simply, and that is, if we nourish our body with a regular combination of whole food nutrients and cleansing beverages, our bodies will not only be healthy and in balance as they were designed, but they will actually renew, repair, and regenerate naturally. So that's what, in my mind, the philosophy of generation is all about. Most of us, when we come into Sunrider, start with what we call our foundational foods, or our NBCs, the Nourish, Balance, and Cleanse foods. And here on the screen is just a perfect example of that. We nourish with products like New Plus and VitaShake. We cleanse with Cali and Fortune Delight. We sweeten with our natural stevia. Oh, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Sunny Dew. And that balance comes from products like quinary that provide the herbs that balance the key systems of the body. Sunrider itself. Sunrider is our business partner, okay? They produce all of these incredible foods for us under the processes I just got through explaining to you guys. More than that, they provide us with some of the tools that we need to run our business. Product fact sheets, guides to success, daily wellness systems. If you're not comfortable talking about Sunrider and asking questions, they provide simple interview tools. They provide things to help us with host parties or our shake and tea parties or presenting to people around the world. So that's what Sunrider brings to the table for us. But what I like too is the fact that within the Rising Stars team, which is part of what we are, we have a like-minded community of people. And the picture up here on the screen right now is from the convention in Las Vegas last year. And what it really shows is a grouping of people that have come together from around the world. And this is just a small example of what our Rising Stars team population of people is really all about. But it shows you guys, again, this is a dedicated group of like-minded people. We're not all part of the same, genealogy, if you will, within Sunrider, but we all fall under the Rising Stars team umbrella. And what's important to that to me is, again, it's all like-minded people working under a servant mentality to help each other to succeed. And I mean, Judy, Wendy, I mean, you guys have, Lisa, you guys have all seen this being part of the team. We all support each other. And Judy, I mean, a great example of that was on the Rising Stars team call this week, where we were all talking and somebody asked a question about a young woman in their organization that was dealing with stomach disorders. And Judy, what was there, like 6 different people that came up with suggestions and ideas as to how we could help that person. That's the kind of teamwork that we're talking about here and the type of community that we have when you become part of this team. Here's just a few more pictures from over the years of various events and some of the folks that I get a chance to work with around the world. And, before we talk about the business, this is just one slide I wanted to bring up because it talks about the potential in the market that we're in. And it's a pretty staggering number when you consider that the wellness and the beauty industry, which is basically what we're in, is almost a $6 trillion market worldwide. I'm not even sure I know how many zeros are in a trillion, okay, but there's a lot of them. And the reason I put this up there is I want people to know that we are in the right business at the right time. And, speaking of that, and before I go on and talk about the income opportunity, especially with what we're dealing with now with the pandemic and things like COVID out there, more than anything, what Sunrider means to me now is the ability to be able to offer hope to our families and our friends, not just for their better health, but also to help them financially, because so many people have ended up being laid off or furloughed are working part-time now from their jobs, and income has become a big issue for them. I can't tell you how many people in the last 11 months that have come to me that I talked to 5, 10, 15 years ago that were never interested in our business, but all of a sudden their life has changed. They're looking for an opportunity now where they can get involved with a business where they can work from their home and generate residual or passive income. With that said, let's open the curtains and we'll talk a little bit about the power of four. The power of four came from our uplines, Bob and Donna Dara, myself, and several other people sitting down and talking about the compensation plan and how we could simplify that and explaining it to people and how they can really grow their business. So to set that up, one of this next slide just basically shows that there are 14 different ranks and 9 different bonuses. And I don't know what you guys can see, but I'm gonna move our pictures over to a different angle here so I can see the entire screen. But what it really shows here is again, there's a journey, a pathway that we can take. And when I first saw this, I have to admit, I was looking at 14 different ranks, man, that seems like a long way between IBO and Icon Royal. But what I remembered is the fact that for the last almost as long as I've been around the Sunrider, I've been involved in the martial arts. And when I first started in the martial arts, I started as a white belt, okay? And my goal on the other side of that journey was black belt. And I realized, very similar to this, within the martial arts I train in, there were 10 different belts I had to achieve. Each of them had their own responsibilities and requirements. And that was the pathway I took to my black belt. Same here. I look at the pathway from IBO to Icon Royal. And the reason that, oops, sorry, again, my presentation is getting ahead of me, which means I'm talking too much. I only identified 3 basic ranks here in red, and the incomes, the average monthly income that's generated for each of these ranks, mainly because it takes too long to go through everything. And I just wanted to focus on these 3 because one of the things we typically ask new people when they come in to join us is, talk to me about 3 numbers that would make a difference in your life. What's the first number today that would help a little bit? Typically, it's around a couple $100s a month, okay? Give me a second number that would start to make a change in your life, a better mortgage payment, car payment, donation to charity, put your kid in a better school, whatever it happens to be. That's typically around $2,000 a month. And then I ask them for a dream number. And it's amazing, but most of those dream numbers tend to be around $20,000 or more a month. A lot of times because people just never think to dream beyond that level, okay? So that's why I've kind of highlighted these 3 ranks here in their incomes. Moving along, where does this all begin? It begins with taking some of the same money, and in this example, I'm going to use $200, okay, that you're currently spending at Safeway or Kroger's, the pharmacy, Walgreens, CVS, whatever it is that you use, and switching those same dollars to purchasing high quality, higher quality Sunrider foods and products, basically from your own corner store, okay? What does that mean? Okay, there's so many examples. I'm just going to touch on a couple of them. A lot of people, because of COVID, they decided, well, I better be taking a vitamin C supplement. All right. They go to Walgreens, they buy one. 99% of them are isolates, not whole food. Sunrider is different. We're all whole food. The highest content of vitamin C that's most absorbed in the body comes from rose hips. Guess what Sunrider's product is made of? A lot of people look for calcium supplements, especially women, okay? Strong bones, that kind of stuff. Again, isolates, 99% of them. Sunrider's all whole food. Coral calcium is what makes up our product. Toothpaste. A lot of people, and I don't want to get into a debate about fluoride, but a lot of people don't like fluoride, me included, okay? I was looking for a toothpaste that was all natural, that did not include fluoride. That's one of the ways I was able to switch brands. I've tried, not completely successfully, but to give up coffee. I replaced the coffee with Cali Tea and Fortune Delight. I replace a meal once a day at least that normally would have been a sandwich, a cheeseburger, a pizza, whatever it happened to be, with New Plus, okay, and a shake. So again, there's many different ways we can take that $200 we're spending somewhere else and invest it in higher quality foods and products. Okay, where does it go from here? It starts back to this magic number of 4 again, identifying 4 people that you may know, family, friends, etc., that have expressed to you some similar concerns on things that you may be going through. Maybe it's health, maybe it's income, maybe it's a combination of all the above, maybe it's just more energy, whatever it happens to be. But find those 4 people, okay, that are willing to do the same thing you are in terms of switching brands. Once you do that, you become what's called a builder leg in the Sunrider comp plan. You're a rank at that star prime, that first magic rank I identified, and you're earning somewhere around $200 a month. Now, again, that 200 could go towards buying your foods. It could go towards whatever you want, but that's what it takes to reach that first rank, finding your 4. From there, it just expands from there. We take those 4 people that have become consumers in your group by investing $200 themselves. We help them find their 4. They become builder legs, which pushes you towards that next magic rank of Ace Royal. And now you're earning approximately $2,000 a month in bonus income. This is where duplication starts coming into play. You find your 4, we work with them, we help them find their 4. So now your organization is starting to grow, okay? And it becomes exponential as it grows out, all right? The next one and the last rank I'm going to focus on is Hero Royal. And you can see the pattern here. We take those builder legs, we help them find their 4, which pushes them to Ace Royals on at least 3 out of the 4 legs. That pushes you towards Hero Royal. Now you're at that dream income of $20,000 a month or more. Again, this all ties back to the power of 4. And quickly to review, just a couple slides here I wanted to share with you guys. It all begins with, again, like I started with, the personal use, sharing with others and finding your 4, choosing the people you want to work with, the people that you care about, folks that you know that care about others, and understanding and knowing their why. Why is it important for them to look at an opportunity like this? Together, we work with them to design an action plan. With the 4 that have joined your team, those become your rising stars, which is a term we've used before, okay? Together, we help the rising stars find their 4. And this all plays back to, again, showing this power of 4, which is all about duplication, and then building your organization wide and securing it in depth, which is where the power of leverage comes in. But again, folks, this only works, back to that servant mentality idea, when we serve the 4 builders and what their dreams are all about. All right. I just threw this another slide in here because I wanted to share this with you to kind of reemphasize what I was just talking about. When I look at this again, that magic 4 keeps on being very monumental in this thing. And when I look at the pillars of success and what it really takes to do in this, the first one again is just what we talked about, being an example of selling and recruiting, doing, okay? And that's really the first 3 steps of our 8-step system of success, which we can talk about another time. But it begins with that personal use, sponsoring customers and showing that power of 4. The second one is, again, finding your 4 rising stars, okay? Those are the people that you're going to be able to work with that have a similar interest or need that you might have, and help them build themselves. Develop those rising stars to advance to the next rank. That's where duplication comes into play, and the leverage we achieve once we build an organization, both in width and depth. And again, this number 4 just keeps on playing back in, and that's where the power of 4 keeps coming into play, okay? Okay, so what's next? We understand the foods are great. There's a business opportunity. What do we do? Well, for new people coming in, we would ask you to consider joining our team. And there's 3 ways that you can do that. You can come in as a retail customer for free. If your interest is in products and simply trying the products, or you have a health or wellness issue, maybe preferred customer is the right option for you. It costs $19.95 to be a preferred customer. You'll get 5% off of all your favorite products. Sunrider has a very robust, I should say, preferred customer program. There's referral links, e-credit, and loyalty gifts, special promotions during the year, you name it. A lot of great benefits for our preferred customers. But if you have an interest in building a business like I do, like many of us do, my suggestion to you is to consider the independent business owner, or IBO approach. $59 is all it costs to start your own business in Sunrider. So again, whichever of these approaches might be right for you, I would ask you to consider what might work best based on your needs and interests right now, and how we can help you to do that. So with that, folks, again, reach out if you're watching this on a video to the person that sent you this video to take a look at. Consider this great opportunity. If you need to reach me, that's the way you can contact me right here. Happy to help and answer any questions anybody has. So again, thank you all very much for your time. I appreciate it. And now what I'd like to do is shut the thing down. And again, folks, get in touch with whoever sent you this link, okay? Thank you.